Welcome, Prabhuda. Om Shri Gurubhyo Paramagurubhyo Srimadananda Tirtha Bhagavat Padacharyobhyo Namo Namaha Narayana Paripurna Gunarnavaya Visvodaya Sthititolaya Niyadi Prataya Jnana Prataya Vibhuda Sura Saukya Dukkha Satkaranaya Vidadaya Namo Namaste Yo Vipralimba Viparita Madhiprabhudan Vadanarasya Kritavan Bhuvitattvavadam Sarvesvaro Haririti Pratipatatam Tam Anandatirthamunivayam Namami Pujjaya Raghavendraya Satyadharmarataya Chayam Pajatam Kalpavrikshaya Namatam Kamadhenve Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadidamastu ma Vishvidavahai Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Welcome, friends. Today, the Kathopanishad, as we are continuing, the reference pages in our document is page number 132. So that you can have it in front of you, so that we will be able to go through. The first thing, because as we have talked about all this while, and what we have seen particularly from the third adhyaya, second adhyaya, third chapter, that is the sixth chapter of the entire Kathopanishad, the ultimate chapter, the final chapter, in which we have seen it has all given, because the two certain paradoxical concepts, make us to understand. Paradoxes are made to ensure that our understanding is more experienced than expressed. You can't express a paradox, in such a way. Paradox is one will be telling the one, the same opposite will also be enshrined by another. For instance, the first mantra of third chapter said, this entire, because the final, the power, who is guiding us is Sanatana. Sanatana, because that is what, Urdhvamulam, Avakshakyam, Sanatana. That is what it said. Sanatana, it's always there, whether you are considering the time, space, or, your time, your yuga, or your manvantara, whatever it is there. It is there ever, it is even before the Big Bang, it is there. Even before the formation of the cosmos, it is there. That is the power it is talking about. At the same time, when it's saying the same power, when he has created all those things, whatever he has created, they are all ephemeral, they will all go away. Ashwatha tree, Ashwatha tree in Sanskrit means it will be here now and it will be vanishing next moment. It will not be there. Ashwatha tree, we have got a very sort of a sacred connotation to Ashwatha tree. We are worship the tree, wherever it is there and all, because it gives us, not only that, because it goes on giving as long as it is possible. But no one has seen when the Ashwatha tree has come and when Ashwatha tree has gone. Everyone knows, Ashwatha tree, by telling everyone will be able to understand that. But if you want to identify a particular Ashwatha tree, because your grandfather might have seen, but when you go there, it may not be there. That is, because he ephemeral, it's there as long as it is required to be there. Likewise, once you understand, because whatever has come out of, because your soul is also supposed to be everlasting. It is because that we have seen. Your soul is also as everlasting as it is. Only your body is coming and going. To understand this concept only, they have brought about, because when the soul is always everlasting, like the Sanatana of the ultimate power, he is everlasting even beyond yugas and manvantras or epochs, whatever you talk about. The soul may have a manifestation in different time, different yugas and different manvantras, but he is always everlasting, in the sense showing that the power what you are invoking is the one which is not going to be confined by time, space, as well as your own limitations. It is beyond that. You are trying to apprehend that power. You will not be able to comprehend that power. It is so big. So in that context only, we started the entire third chapter by going, who is that power? The power is under whom, because the entire cosmos is functioning. Under whom, on whose instruction the sun is rising and moon is waning. Under whose instruction, things are happening. Even when the calamities are happening, it is also happening under this tension. When the calamities go off also, it's under his instruction. When all these things comes, if it is so, why he doesn't always, allow, only the good things to be here, and why calamities should be avoided. Should be avoided because he should have made a world a wonderful place so that everyone can come and live. But that is not the nature, because he will have to, everything whatever has come will have to go. Because but while going and coming only, there will be renewal will be there. The renewal and evolution for you also, if you are going to remain in the same body like Ayati, you will not be able to evolve, because if your soul has to evolve, you will have to evolve to your full potential, the innate quality of your soul, you will have to have this entire cycle unless you are able to give up the body and once again come, because then only, and finally when you attain the liberation, when you don't have any more death and birth. What is that death and birth? What is that status, which we don't know about it? That's what Nachiketa has asked. What happens, when the body is gone, when the soul is there, what happens to that? That's what he is asking the third question, for which the answer has been made so elaborate, through all these six chapters, and finally it is culminating into the sixth chapter or the third chapter of the second adhyaya. He is trying to give, how you will have to experience that. It can't be expressed in words. So for that, when you say to even to understand our body is, ephemeral, as long as, we know that, but we don't think, our body is, ephemeral, because all of us are folding, we are identifying with the body. You're part of the body. How can I say, because this body is ephemeral, this may go to other, that I will have to go and, get the cure. If I am having a disease, my body has got a dysfunction, I will have to go to the doctor and get it done. But why I should be, because if it is ephemeral, why I should be doing it? Or if it is not ephemeral, why I should be, because bothering about it? These are all the questions that will normally will come because our mind is logically analyzing everything. Because we have been trained to do logical analysis for our practical purposes to live in this world. We all know our body is functioning. It is also synchronetically functioning, because when you are seeing, you are able to know what you are seeing and what is the next course of action. When you are crossing the road, on the left, if the vehicle is coming, you are stopping, once the vehicle goes off, then you are crossing the road, see the middle of the road, you see the vehicle on the other side, then only you are crossing. All these synchronity, the synchronized action that takes place, how it takes place. Your body obeys, the laws, the rules, but who is giving the orders? That is the question. That is exactly the question. Who is giving? Because okay, because you may be, but if my legs are not functioning, or my, because eyes are not functioning, or because if I am not able to, I am not able to perceive immediately, and how I will be able to function. But when everything is functioning on whose order it is functioning, and this is exactly the power we are trying to apprehend. We may not be able to comprehend. This has exactly been brought about, because the mantra after mantra, the next mantra said, because everyone is doing, under the orders and under the command and guidance of the ultimate power, who has created, who has been the cause, and who has been the cause for this entire cosmos to be here, and as entire the beings to be here. And at the same time, who has created, means he is immanent in the sense he is in everyone as well. This is the paradox. The same power who has created the entire thing, how come he also sits in you and guides you? This is the paradox, that is being explained. So does it, because that shows, we have already explained in all the earlier mantras, as well as in all other Upanishad, you are never the doer. Even if you have a semblance of, because pretension that you are the doer, you are really not the doer. To understand that only, because by understanding is very difficult, because when I am doing everything and when I am facing the consequences, how can I say I am not the doer and someone else is getting it done through me? What is that? Because he will not take responsibility, he will get it done through me, but I only will have to take the responsibility. How does it? It is not, against the laws of natural justice. How it happens? This is the question fundamentally been happening to any analytical, logical mind, thinking about. See, if it is there, if you should have made me to do the good things, for which the consequences are also good, I should be able to reap only good consequences. Why should we be subjected to the unwanted consequences? Why should be subjected to all sort of miseries? Why should it be putting? Is it, because fair for, even the power, power who was created? He could be there and he could be immanent in the sense, he has to guide every human being to do in that way and all. But he only gives you the power. But how you are, because when you are getting it done, when he gets it done, he enables you to get it done, whatever you want, whatever, you are capable of at that time. How that capability comes, how that propensity comes, how the perception comes. This is what we have seen, that three gunas, which has been said in the Gita, as well as, because what we have discussed, the sattva, rajasa, and tamasa component of our perception, our mind, for which, we have accumulated all these days, they are guiding the action. Why they should be, because but everyone, irrespective of the fact, even if he is a sage or even the sinner, everyone will have all the three components. Only the percentage of component is going to be the determinant. A sage will have 90% of the sattva component. Even there, he will have to have some sort of a rajasa component, because unless he has to be living through the world, he has to go through the world, he needs that. And then he has to have some tamasic. He will not always be, because in the state of fully evolved, because he will have at times, it will be coming down like light waves, because it will also be coming down. It is not a constant, because linear wave, it will also have undulation. It will also go down and all. Why? Because the yoga is, once you have done, it is not that, you have attained you become a yogi and that's all. It's not the be all and all. You will have to continuously be into the process. Because every time, because the rajasa component, may come down and you will be drawn into the worldly ways, and you will also try to be, because the practical ways of, doing the things, for your own benefit. In that process, you will be losing yourself. And then once you realize, you will again come back. So likewise, because it is not a one fit for all and one time. It is not, because once you had it, it's not that, you are going to have it for lifetime. You will have to do again and again and again. That is why, because the yogic practices, why, yogic practices are a continuous and continual process to keep yourself in that state, because you will not be able to, it is like a waxing and waning, because like, as we have said, the sun rises and sun sets. So likewise, because you will be getting into the highest mode of, the yogic mind, you might have heard, but then, because subsequently it will draws down slowly, because by virtue of, because the component on in you, as well as, you will have to deal with, the world with its own complexities. When you are dealing with it, it will come down again. That's why when you are doing a meditation or a yogic practices, it is, you will have to do continuously, and you will have to improve it, and you will have to abhyasa by, you will have to bring in the you will have to go through the cycle again and again to refine yourself. If you are not able to refine yourself, you will not be able to, remove the cobwebs that accumulates in you, and finally you will not be able to access to that clarity component of it, which comes only after the redoubtably, because repeating practices, every time, it's iterative. Iteratively, when you are trying to refine a goal, you will have to put through several cycles. Because it's not one cycle, you will not be able to eliminate, all the particles, because unwanted particles. Every time it has to go through. So all other particles, if it is there, whether it is a lead, copper, and all of them will be removed. Then only the purity of the gold will go through, because from 18 karat to 24 karat, because there is several process by which, you'll have to come about. It's not that one time. So likewise, any practice what we are adopting, any practice what you are doing, this particular portion deals with particularly the yoga. Yoga, when it is being talked about, it is the yoga is the study of the mind, and the keeping the mind in a particular frame, in which, you are able to keep the mind, as much as clean as possible, because the mind is the finally the one that matters. It doesn't matter, the matter when it comes, because it will have its own associated, because the sensibilities and which triggers the action in you. But here, the mind is going to be the prima donna, which is going to be the fulcrum through which, you will be able to refine yourself, elevate yourself to the level which you are capable of, which you are destined, which is your birthright. This is exactly, because has been taught about the last mantra, what we have seen, because we have just recited the mantra and seen briefly the same one, which we will be telling, na sandrishe tishtati rupamasya. You will not be able to, because they get the clarity, or finally achieve, find the ultimate, because the relaxed mood, in which you will be able to realize the bliss with your sensible senses, because active. Whether you are ocular, because with eyes open, you will not be able to see it or perceive it, or you will not be able to hear the those things. If someone has realized, he is telling, by hearing, you will not be able to form your own idea about it, because it's just not possible, because we have seen in Kenopanishadam also, and here also, because it is very clearly being repeated, so that you can never do that. Na sandrishe tishtati rupamasya, na sachusha pasyati kaschana yenam. No one, because you will not be able to see. You need the vision, because which is inside you. You will only be able to do. You not the ocular vision, not with the physical vision. You will not be able to make it. Hrida manisha manasa asmi atripte. Because the one you will be able to get, the light of the light of the love, the light of the highest power in your heart, and briefly, because that you will be able to apprehend those moments, and that will be the one which you will be able to realize. How does it, because how does it happen? How anyone has ever experienced that? Why they have not, because brought it to Buddha. This is what we have seen, because in Kenopanishadam also is said, and we have also seen, because this is not the process by which, you will be able to physically evaluate. Physically, you will find the metrics to do it. But when it has to be experienced, each one's experience will be different. So their experience, they will not be able to do, because their process of refinement, will be different, because their process of sadhana will be different. Our process of sadhana may be different, because our mindset, our way of, because doing the sadhana, how we have adopted ourselves, how we have submitted ourselves to the process of sadhana. So doing a meditation is one thing. How you have submitted yourself, involved in the meditation, is more important. Once you have submitted yourself, slowly, you will be able to remove the cup. But if you are trying to find, because someone has said, because they have done the meditation, they have got about, why not, it's coming to me, or, because let me do it, let me find, best way to do it and all. Because when you are doing it yourself, however small step it may be, however, you may not be having, all those that of scriptural knowledge and all, doesn't matter. But when you are able to do it yourself, the yogic practice or a meditation, anything, when you are able to do, you will slowly be finding yourself, the clarity of the component coming. You will realize, because how, you have been misled earlier, and how you are coming out of that. That will be when you are able to find the relaxed mind and the relaxed mood every moment, even when you are put through to the everyday vicissitudes of life. Every day when you are going through the life, how you have to find the relaxed mood, it is sort of a awareness of yourself and awareness of what is happening around and all. How will you be able to know? Because in everyday, vicissitudes of life, because supposing, if you are going to deal with someone, you are subordinate in the office, you assume the role of a superior and trying to see the things that way. But if you are trying to use assume, that he is also a being and he is undergoing the process and you are also a being, then because you would have been a subordinate sometime, how you experience the same thing he will be experienced. But as a superior, because you forget those things and you are trying to see only how he should, and not that what he is. So once you have that, once you are able to put yourself into the shoes of other person, you will be sort of a getting out of the role. Otherwise, you will be steadfast on your role, and you will be getting into the things that will take away into a direction where you will not be able to neither retrieve nor you will be able to resolve the situation. Both of them should not happen. This is exactly, because this particular mantra has been brought about. And this mantra, because here the most important thing there is in Hrida Manisha. Hrida Manisha, Mana Isha is Isha. Mana is the one, the mind, the chitta, which is finally, the accumulating and all the information, and it is processing it. Finally, the intellect is able to access. Isha, the one who is having a rule over the mind. The Manisha is like highest, when the highest state of Manisha is the Brahman itself. He is the one, because he doesn't have any strain. When you are able to have the control the mind, going, either to get any of the getting into the sort of the moods of an anger, mada, mascharya, all the jealousy, everything, because when you are able to have a control over that, then you become a Mana-isha. In one of the another name for Shiva is Manisha. Manisha is a name very common, because people are having this name because it is just to trying to show that you have got the control of the mind, and once by controlling the mind, you are able to get through the world, as wonderfully as possible. Krita Manisha Manasa abhik Manasa abhikriptaha. Kriptaha, it's a very complex Sanskrit word. This is the intuition that comes about, that process you will not be able to see. Because when the entire thing is, when the entire sea is without the waves, then only, because certain things, will come out. So because when the sea is having a waves, because when the lake is having the waves, you will not be able to see the bottom of it. When it is crystal clear, when it is calm, when everything is there is no stain, finally, even you will be able to get through and see the bottom of the river or bottom of the ocean. In the shallow ocean, you will be able to see that. So that is the clarity. That level of clarity, once it comes, that means, when you don't have any likes, dislikes, you are relaxed. How am I to be relaxed? This is, one thing, because the next mantra will also be telling that, but we will go through that process. That I think, because, we will see, because everyone is, will be telling their own way of how to get the clarity and intuition. Someone will say, you see that there is no thought that arises. As I have said, it is a process more, because we can talk about, we will not be able to do it. With thoughts in a stop, even when I am talking, some thoughts are flashing through. I think, how am I to, because there's so many things that comes about. But of course, because I'm trying to focus mindfully into my sort of the Kathopanishad, I'm able to put that, so that they go away. By putting your focus and attention not to one thing, the other thoughts will vanish. That is the only way. By doing that constantly, then you become, because then you are totally into, because what the Upanishad is telling, am I able to understand my understanding, am I able to express it in such a way whether you are able to understand or make sense out of that, or if I'm making some mumbo jumbo, which is not mean having any sort of a meaning to you. Because therefore, I am trying to find, because how much clarity I can get, which I can share it with you as much as possible. That's what I am doing. That will come, because only when now we are, since we are focusing only now, the power of now is very important. The power of what we are doing right now mindfully is very important. I am also trying to tell you are also trying to find, because what is that? And because like you will also have your own doubts, because it may not be giving you all the clarity you would be needing. But then by constant, because we're exchanging, by constant, because our dialogue, we will be able to get the clarity. You will also be able to get the clarity, and I will also be able to get the clarity as to, because what is that, finally, we can understand and to the possible extent express each one of us that can make some sense out of that. This is exactly, because of manasa abhikripte. This is a process. This process goes about, a scientist, when he is working on a particular project, for him, because the tea in front of him is nothing, his dinner time is not important, because his total focus is on that, because he has been posed a problem, because in the research, and he is trying to find a solution out of that. All rest of the things are only mechanical. He may be taking some water, he may be doing, because he will be pinching, some biscuit from here and take something, that these are all, and of course, mechanically he will be doing. His mind is totally into that. Even though he is seeing the biscuit, his eyes will not go to that, because his mind is totally focusing on that. When you are in the happy mood, when you are in, supposing, someone, if one of our children are getting married and all, someone comes and asks, we are in the happy mood, and they say something and all, half we will listen and half we are in this mood of that bliss, we are making a celebration, and we will also try to celebrate and ask him to be participant in the celebration. And if possible, we will try to be, more munificent than we are in the normally. At the same time, when I am on the other side of it, if I have got a great loss, because a loss of a personal loss or a financial loss, anything like that, even if you are trying to give me, all those words of wisdom, nothing will go into my ears. I will only be, what is that? How the hell it happened to me, despite the fact I took every step and all. At that point of time, my mind is there, and then, totally, I am totally lost. So when they say, because you don't, give up to your, keep the senses aside. When you are in these moods, your senses are aside. You are not able to see, what you are seeing. Even when you are in the bad mood, even someone gives you a sweet, it will not taste as sweet as possible, because you are totally, your mind, body, and intellect are all combined together, and to sort of go through that loss, you will not be able to take that. This is exactly when we have experienced. The Upanishad says, likewise, it is not that impossible for you to keep away from the senses, because when you are subjecting yourself, you're surrendering yourself to the moods based on, because you are the utmost happiness, you are in, or, the indomitable, the impossible loss which happens. Either way, you are swinging in at that point of time, your senses, whatever they are functioning is not in your control. You are not giving any sort of a damn to that. So when they say yoga, don't give any sort of importance to your senses. We say, how is it possible? But it is already possible. We have experienced that. We are not only able to understand that experience as a knowledge, how we can do that. So therefore, once you try to, because how you will be developing? By concentrating on some other job which you can do when you enjoy. When you are doing it automatically, because the thoughts will go off. But only thing is, whatever you do, you should enjoy doing it. So if I am working in a office and if I don't enjoy what I am doing, certainly, I will be miserable, because I don't enjoy what I am doing. But I am not getting what I should enjoy. It is not my cup of tea. That's why, because the life is try to do what is more enjoyable to you, more you are able to passionately do. So that, once you are applying the passion, you will become dispassionate, because you will be focusing on to that. The passion takes to you, but when you are in the process of creating, the best what you are into, at that time you become dispassionate. You are trying to find, because there is no error, there is no, because some type of deficiency in what you are doing. This is exactly, it's being brought about. It is akin to seventh chapter of Gita, we'll see sometime later. And when you think, because once you understand, because a form doesn't exist, because when you understand that his form, through that exaltation, because the apprehending, those fine movements comes into you. And when you are able to, when you are enjoying something and all, your senses are out, because your thoughts are out. When you are having such a thing, Manisha, Manasa Abhiklipratye, ye yetat Vidute Amrita Bhavanti. Once you have understood, because this is what finally I have to get. This is what the immortality, this is what the final bliss. And for this, the yogic practices are required, in the sense when the yogic practices, by constantly doing the meditation, by constantly focusing on what you are enjoying, the constantly being, because trying to self-reflect, because still not that, you go and sit in a corner in your house, without talking to, not that, because you be with them at that point of time, because even if you are reading a newspaper and if you are reading a particular article, try to give, because by reading the article, don't watch the TV. And, because don't, because have some snacks in front of you, because all these things will take away, because likewise, then, you are being dissipated in your, the tongue will say, because why don't you get two more, and the eyes will say, by there's some advertisement is coming, leave the TV now, read the paper. By the time you are reading, then your serial comes or the news comes, you go through that. Likewise, just to focus on one thing and try to do that as much as possible. Once you are doing whatever you are enjoying, any activity throughout the day, you will be able to do that, because in that process, the meditation and other yogic practices, they all help you, like yama, niyama, pranayama. Pranayama is a very important aspect of it. Pranayama is such an important activity, because we are doing it, because as mechanically in most of the time, because of the ritualistically. But there are also, because the pranayama, which you can, because by regulated, because through the guru, once you understand and do it, it will keep your body disease free as far as possible, and your mind also fully, with all the clarity required. Because when you are the pranayama, when you are doing, when you are able to regulate and relax the breath, because in such a way, automatically, it gets into its own realm of, because bringing it. Because when you, how do you get the relaxation? Relaxation in by doing the breath control. Breath control is not breathing, it is just regulating your breath. And then, because yama niyama, because you follow some orders, even sitting, be comfortable. Sthirastukam asanam. You should always be comfortable possible, not necessary, because you will have to, your legs are not, you got a knee problem, you don't have to sit on the ground, you sit on, because couch or wherever it is, be comfortable, as relaxed as possible. When you are relaxed, because none of your senses should draw to any discomfort. Once you are doing that, once you are mindfully enjoy what you are doing, even reading a book, or even listening to some music, or even writing something, you are doing it, or talking to someone, because some of your friends, on some important issue, do everything, because do that, and at that point of time, you will give full attention to that and do that, because, and then every day when you do these practices, it helps you to do your enjoy everyday's activity as much as possible. This is what it is there. And then, because this is what the 2.3.9, the mantra, what we have recited. The next is we are going 2.3.1 and 10, because this is in your page number 132, where it says, Yata pancha avitishtante. Because all the five senses, when five comes to rest, avitishtante. When they come to rest, when you are in deep sleep, all your five senses are at rest. Your eyes are closed, your mouth, because unless maybe any at times, you may be snoring through your, breathing through your mouth, assuming that it is not there and all, and your nose, only being, used for inhaling and exhaling. The ears, you don't listen, when you are in a deep sleep, and your all the karmendriyas are all at rest. At that point of time, when they are coming in that time, when you are in a deep sleep, you don't have any sort of a worry, or any sort of a happiness or anything. You are absolutely into the realm which we call the finally, the earlier mantra said, you will be realizing that, through your Hita Manisha, that is what it is. In the deep sleep, we are experiencing it to a great extent, but we are not able to hold on to that experience. At that point of time, when you have a very deep sleep and when you get up, because it is so refreshing. But lack of sleep, because disturbs you. But that's why, we are all trying, because endeavoring every day to have a good sleep. Because the sleep is very important, not only for rejuvenating your body and as well as, because to keep, all the cells, intact, and as well as, your replenishment of cells takes place. The melamine comes, and finally, because every morning, you are able to be able to launch yourself into another day. Not that one more day has come. What am I to do? Not to worry that. Once you have a fresh sleep and all, yes, let me get up, because afresh. Let me face the day as I go about to launch yourself. Just a 5 minutes, you just have a sort of a self-reflection. Yes, it is good. Today, whatever comes in the way, I will do it. If there is anything comes also, I will find a solution. Once you have a determinant of that, we will go about that. Instead of telling, one more day, I will have to make chapatis, because the LPG may not come, because now there is a crisis all around. If you are going to think about the problems, it will be there, because, few days before it is a different type of problem, now it is a different type of problem. Irrespective of the fact, whatever comes, I will go with whatever is available as best as can, and I enjoy what I can do. Once you launch yourself in the next morning, that is the life. That is exactly what we see and all. Don't bother about, because yesterday someone said that, yesterday someone was, some WhatsApp came, and forget about all those things. That's all, you will have to let go. And you have when you get up, because when you do your pranayama, the exhaling, you exhale all those toxics. Forget about all past thoughts, nothing disturbing, and you are going afresh into the day and launch yourself. This is exactly, what it says. Yatha pancha avittishtante Gnanani manasasa, the five senses together with the mind. Because the word says, once you are in the sleep, all the senses, because they are totally inactive, in the sense they are active, but because they are not doing any function. They are absolutely in unison with the mind. The mind, because they don't, mind doesn't get any sort of sort of communication from the senses, and the mind doesn't have to process. Mind is also at rest, and senses are also rest. Whereas the mind and senses are at rest, intellect also is at rest. It's not, analyzing, because what is that, am I sleeping, because this way or that way and all, because your body takes care of it. If you have to go left, right and all, you are not aware. The body knows, which side is comfortable, which side is, you yourself will be discomfort and you will go that side and all this. So once you go through that, automatically, because that is the state, what you are getting in the deep sleep, you should be able to get it, when you are awake. This is how you will be able to get, by constantly, enjoying what you are doing or doing which is enjoyable for you. And finally, because every day doing such practices, because at least some regulatory practices of the body, mind, and intellect, because that is through the yogic or meditative practices that will enable you to enjoy yourself to the utmost and be relaxed. What is that relaxation? Meditation is not, the making, the things, more vigorous and all. Meditation is the utmost relaxation of your body, mind, and intellect. This has been beautifully, because explained by Osho for the modern man to understand in his own way. Of course, because our Upanishads have said that, it much, because earlier they have brought this concept, first you should relax yourself. You understand? There is nothing to be worried. क्या फर्क पड़ता है? Whatever happens, because okay, the LPG has not come today. I think it is going to take 1 month. क्या फर्क पड़ता है? Let me try to live with whatever is the other things available. Let me have induction, because now inductions are being sold, dime a dozen. So that is exactly will one. Then once you get it, what happened? Buddhischana vicheshtate. Vicheshtate, because Buddhism, because once they are at rest, your intellect doesn't have any work to do. What is that? Analyzing, finding out, logically thinking, planning, and confabulating, and also you don't have to do any of those things. You are totally at tam ahu paramagatim. Once you get that tam ahu, that state is said to be the highest paramagatim. That is the ultimate. We will have to understand and identify that one state, where everything is, or just at rest, or they are not bothered, regulated, and finally you are getting into the utmost mode. You are relaxed, in a relaxed awareness. You are enjoying what you are doing, whatever, but you are not getting into other thing unnecessarily. You will not be getting into something else. This is what will happen. And anyway, taking that into account, we will be seeing this mantra in a little more detail, because this mantra has got a very great, the component of little elucidation which is needed, because basically, because so far what we are seeing, and because the yogic practices, you might have heard the terms. You might have, some of you might have participated also. It is yama, niyama, and then asana, pranayama. After that, pratyahara in one step is there. Pratyahara is why senses get activated. When you are feeding, because the senses, so when you talk about it, you see, what is that is going on, in the theater, or, today, what is that, important things are happening. And, you see TV, they will highlight, how the war is taking place, how, the drones are being intercepted and all those things. As such, you will not be able to do anything. Whatever is happening, you will not be able to change. But then, mind, why it is happening? Why can't they do it? Because we get into all analytical mode of which we don't have any control. It doesn't mean don't bother about it. See, understand, this is what is happening. But once you understand, once you see, why not, because people don't get into, because how much resources is being wasted. $1 million missile is being, sort of sent out to destroy a $10 tent. It doesn't make any commercial sense. Sort of Banya will not take such a decision. Even, when just because, your ego says, you want to control the whole world, you are doing that, that is a sort of, you are wasting so much of resources. $1 million, would have ameliorated so many poor people, in Sudan without food. See, if those thoughts, because once you think, why can't, people say like that? Why can't people think like that? Once